Okay, let's tackle the elephant in the room. I have heard all day from so many, all day and all night, telling me that there was some severe Sasuke vibes going on in this chapter. And I finally sit down and I read it, and I see the moment many are talking about. They're pretty much talking about the final part of the chapter where Bakugo is stolen, he's kidnapped, and he is possibly going to turn into a villain because of the villain's dialogue, the magician's dialogue to be exact. And let's look at the differences, okay? There is a lot of differences between Bakugo and Sasuke. Now, I'm not going to say I didn't see Bakugo maybe becoming a villain, because I've talked about this in the first 10 chapters of the series when, Boku no Hero Academia was first hitting off, the first 10 to 15 chapters were out, and I was talking about it. I was talking about Bakugo most likely becoming a villain. I talked about it constantly, and to this day, I still feel like he might become a villain, but his character has gradually changed where it's really not possible for him to become a villain at this moment because of the way his character is written, which I'm going to explain here, which goes to the main core subject I want to talk about when it comes to this chapter in this video. Many are saying that Bakugo is pretty much going to be a rehash of Sasuke from Naruto, and honestly, I disagree with that. I completely disagree with that because, like I said, there's very huge differences between these characters. For one, Sasuke's character was introduced to be someone that was going after revenge. He wanted vengeance. We got some insight into his character before whatever happened later on down the road, and so he kind of knew that Sasuke was a little bit evil, and he had his own evil motives. And so we already knew how his character was. Bakugo, on the other hand, he has had some motives that were just straight up fucked up, but the way his character has developed, he is not necessarily evil. He doesn't have a motive like, I want to kill people, I want to kill my brother, I want to get revenge for my family, my entire family died, so forth, so on. It's never been like that at all. That's one clear difference between Sasuke and Bakugo. They're very different when they come to their upbringing. Their upbringing is completely different. But let's go even further. In this chapter, it was made very, very obvious that Bakugo does not like being ordered around. And this has been made very obvious in recent chapters. Not just this chapter, but this arc and previous arcs. Bakugo does not like being told what to do and having people protect him or anything like that. Like, look at this chapter. When everybody was discussing what they could do for Bakugo, how to keep him protected, how to escort him, they were telling him to stay in the middle. He didn't like that. He was calling them pricks. He's like, I don't want to do this and shit. And this has been shown time and time again with his character in previous arcs and latest chapters. Bakugo does not like being told what to do. He does not like listening to what others want him to do. And with the villain popping up, the magician, saying, oh, he's not meant to be on the hero side, he's meant to be on our side, which sets up for him most likely being a villain. I don't feel like that's the way it's going to go down. Bakugo most likely is going to tell these villains to fuck off, and I don't want to be a villain. Maybe he might become an anti-hero, but I don't see Bakugo becoming a villain whatsoever. I just don't see it. I don't see him doing that because it would kind of conflict with his character. His character has been shown to be against people telling him what to do. So I just do not believe that Bakugo will become evil. So, like I said, huge differences between these characters. We'll have to see. There is still a possibility that Bakugo can go evil. He might become a villain. I'm not going to throw that out the door because that is still a possibility. This is a shonen, and it could happen. But I have faith in the mangaka that the mangaka will not do that and will continue to write a wonderfully crafted series with great characters, great story, and won't use the standard cliches we see nowadays in shonen. I hope that the mangaka takes, Bakugo down a different path, an unexpected path that shocks us all. So, besides that, let's get off that point. Now that I kind of covered that a little bit, let's talk about Toga. I think that's her name. Toga, the girl, the yandere girl. Well, Toga, oh my god. Okay, so we got another love interest. That's the best way to summarize it. We have another love interest for our MC, Izuku. She straight up looks at Izuku right before she runs off, and she sees Izuku all beat up, bloody, has enemy blood on him, his blood on him, he's battered, he can't fucking use his arms and legs, pretty much. He's like just straight up cannot do anything. And Toga sees this, and we found out right before that panel, when she stares at him, that she gets off to people being bloody and hurt, injured, all that type of stuff. And when we see this, characterization of her when she's talking to Ochako and Tsuyu, we find out what type of person she likes. And then all of a sudden, Izuku comes in, he looks similar to what she's attracted to, and then now we have a new love interest. So, yeah, that's happened. That's happening. That is definitely fucking happening. A yandere love interest is happening for Izuku. I'm not gonna say I'm against it. I mean, hey, that's pretty freaking funny, actually. I mean, it's kind of like, whoa, like that, but I mean, I'm not against it. I'm really not. It'll add a different dynamic to the love interest already. Of course, it's going to add a love triangle, and I'm not the biggest fan of love triangles. I'm really not. And I think we can all agree that Ochako and Tsuyu are the best girls, besides Momo, of course. Momo is best girl, definitely. Momo is fucking best girl. But when it comes to the characters I really love, Ochako, I'm a bigger fan of. I do love Tsuyu. I love Tsuyu's design. Fucking amazing design. But I'm a bigger fan of Ochako. And so, when it comes to the love interest, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of a love triangle. Most likely, that's how it's going to happen. The way the character is being written with, Toga, she most likely is going to turn over to a new leaf some way down the road. She might turn to be a good guy or, a hero one day. That's a possibility. But for now, though, Izuku needs to watch his back, because he's got a crazy yandere that wants to suck his blood and murder him. So, GG. G fucking G. Okay, so besides that, let's talk about Tokoyami. So Tokoyami, oh my god, his ability is just insane. Like, talked about this last week. Tokoyami has been one of my personal favorite characters of the series since his first introduction. I've loved his design, I loved his ability. He looks like a fucking badass. And we finally get to see Dark Shadow in the middle of the night. That's been built up for a while. And the power displayed in this chapter was unbelievable, because many might overlook what Dark Shadow did, but let's take a moment to consider what Dark Shadow did. Dark Shadow ripped the fucking forest up, and then, on top of that, kicked the shit out of this villain. This high-class villain like nothing, just crushed this villain, and possibly even killed this villain like he was a turd on the road. That's exactly how this villain was treated. And that goes to show you the power of Dark Shadow, and this right here, this is scary, because Tokoyami, his potential right now as a fighter is insane. Like, he is going to be someone with incredible potential in terms of fighting later on down the road. Because if he can get a grasp on his power and use it without hurting others, just imagine how strong he's going to be when he finally starts using different techniques and stuff, and using Dark Shadow to the fullest, and able to learn new things about it he didn't really know, since he's never really gotten to use Dark Shadow in combat experience. So, right there, fucking awesome. I cannot wait to see how Tokoyami is going to improve in the future. Maybe 50 chapters, 100 chapters, I don't know. Maybe it could be even longer than that, 200 chapters on the road. I cannot wait to see how much he improves on the journey of Boku no Hero Academia. But let's get off of that. Let's talk about Dark Shadow for a second. Besides the power potential and stuff, let's talk about Dark Shadow and its personality. So Dark Shadow, we know, can talk. We know it has a personality. We've seen this a little bit. But for the first time, we get to see Dark Shadow showing some of its true nature. And it wanted Tokoyami to submit himself to the inner darkness. Like, Dark Shadow. Submit to his rage, his anger. And when I saw that, I'm like, yo, that's... holy crap. Like, it's a little bit... what it reminds me of shonen series where the MC usually has like a spirit or something inside of them, and then, they have to control it. Like, best example, Naruto. There you go. Nine-tailed fox. Best fucking example. Like, it reminds me of something. So I know it's not the exact same. I know it's not. But it reminds me of that just because of how there's this inner voice talking to Tokoyami and trying to tell him to, like, submit to his inner rage, his evil, whatever. And I was like, yo, that's pretty cool. I mean, Tokoyami's not the main character, but he has something very similar that a main character would have. So that's also bonus points for Tokoyami. You can already see that he's going to have a lot of potential in the future towards the story just because of the way his quirk is being displayed. So, can't wait for that as well. Besides that chapter, that's about it, I think. I mean, yeah, you have the end of the, chapter, Bokugo, what the fuck? Bakugo, he disappears, the magician is there, he used his, quirk ability to kind of kidnap Bakugo. Let's see here. Toga talked about that, the blood sucking and stuff, and how she likes blood. And then, Tsuyu and Ochako kicking some fucking ass. Oh my god, fucking awesome. Ochako and Tsuyu fucking, yo, that was fucking hype. And then Tokoyami, and then stopping it with, Todoroki and Bakugo. Very good stuff there as well. Overall chapter was just fucking amazing. So yeah, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.